If you thought the COVID mRNA vaccine saga was done and dusted, it is not. It actually just got even wider. And the truth is that people are simply not going to stop talking about this. Aussie 17 posts to Substack Japan's shocking mRNA vaccine revelations. 21 million vaccination records expose alarming death trends. He says if you thought the mRNA vaccine saga couldn't get any wilder, Japan just dropped a bombshell that's shaking the narrative to its core. A group of 350 Japanese volunteers, led by the United Citizens for Stopping mRNA Vaccines, has unleashed a staggering 21 million vaccination records. Yes, you read that right. Obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests. This isn't some small fry data set. It's a colossal trove of vaccination dates, lot numbers, and most chillingly, deaths. And what it reveals? Well, let's just say it's not the safe and effective mantra we've been spoon-fed. By analysing the 21 million records, Professor Murakami of Tokyo Science University uncovered a disturbing peak in deaths 90 to 120 days after mRNA vaccination, with higher doses showing earlier death peaks. That's right, folks who got more jabs died sooner, suggesting a cumulative toxicity that builds with each shot. Murakami estimates that 600,000 to 610,000 Japanese may have died post-vaccination, a figure that aligns eerily with Japan's excess death statistics. But here's the kicker. Why haven't these deaths been plastered across headlines? Professor Murakami suggested that they're happening 3 to 4 months later, slipping under the radar of official reports because doctors do not see them as a cause of death if they're not within a few days after vaccination. That government's not connecting the dots, folks, and it's no surprise why. These delayed deaths don't fit the narrative of safe and effective. Instead, they point to a silent crisis that's been swept under the rug. The article continues, the good news is this: while Big Pharma pushes forward with its next pet project, the self-replicating mRNA vaccine, aka Replicon vaccine, the Japanese public isn't buying it. Out of 4.2 million doses rolled out last October, only 10,000 were administered. That's a measly 0.24 uptake rate. Let that sink in. The people of Japan, armed with growing skepticism and fueled by groups like the United Citizens, have rejected this experimental jab en masse. Then they're not just sitting quietly. Over 100,000 signatures were submitted to Japan's Ministry of Health, Labour and Welfare, demanding a halt to mRNA vaccinations. Why the resistance? Well, the Replicon vaccine, hyped as a next-gen solution, is already raising alarms. According to the press conference, the pharmaceutical company behind it, Meiji Seika Pharma, has admitted to higher rates of adverse effects and deaths compared to the original Pfizer and Moderna jabs. If the first round of mRNA shots was bad, this self-replicating version sounds like a sci-fi horror show. No wonder Japan's saying thanks but no thanks. But this isn't just Japan's battle, it's a global wake-up call. The United Citizens Group, with 70,000 supporters and 3,000 volunteers, is pushing for international collaboration to stop mRNA vaccines, including a planned influenza shot set for fall 2025. We told you last week about how the FDA just gave Moderna full US approval for their mRNA shot for children 6 months and older. How can this possibly be justified in light of this Japanese data? The group's database, though currently Japanese only, is being prepped for English translation, and they're inviting researchers worldwide to dive in. But it's not all smooth sailing. The group's facing heat, legal heat. Meiji Seika Pharma has slapped a lawsuit on Congressman Kazuhiro Haraguchi and others for speaking out against the Replicon vaccine. Haraguchi himself claims he developed lymphoma post-vaccination with spike proteins found in his lymph cells. This 21 million record bombshell isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's lives, it's families, and governments and healthcare systems that have either failed to ask the hard questions or are completely compromised. And while the uptake of the latest shots may be low, let us remind you that shedding is a real problem with any of these injections. We as individuals may say no, but we have absolutely no way of protecting ourselves from being shed on by those who say yes. The only solution is to ban this technology immediately.